Right, what's up, folks? Welcome to Foreign and Domestic. It is good to be here. Good to see everyone out in the side chat. We're rocking and rolling already. With that being said, I would like to welcome my special guest host tonight, the Kingpin himself. Appreciate you, sir. We'll get to you in just 1 second. Before we do that, Chris, if you would, sir, would you start us off right?
I will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, all right. Thank you, sir. Very well done. Much appreciated. Kingpin, what's going on, brother?
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for everybody being on the panel. I'm doing good. Just glad to be sitting in here, taking Alan's spot up for tonight.
Awesome. Good to have you, man. Daniel, what's going on, dude?
I think he's pretending to be muted.
Okay, you're too quick for me. Hey, thanks for having me on tonight. I just when you said that Kingpin's co-host, and I just noticed that Alan B Pro was in here. Okay, so there's that. Thanks for having me on, guys. Nice seeing you again in the side chat. Let's have some fun tonight.
Just for the record, I am growing a beard right now. Just so I don't know if I'll have as big as one of Alan by the end of the show, but I'm working on it as we speak.
Awesome. I don't know if that's a good thing or if that's going to be scary. We'll find out, I guess. Val, what's going on, man? Haven't seen you in a bit.
Yeah, I missed you last week. I was driving from Eastern Tennessee. I was driving home, and yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed my tribute video to Daniel. God is my church. Compliment
You mean your
of my
kids video?
son. Yeah, I did. I did a video to for the Daniel, just like I promised, since he's the winner.
uh, Jamie, what's going on, man?
You already asked me it, but I'm just wondering how much he had to pay his son to do that for him.
Well, my son loves me, so he did it for free.
Oh, okay. So you blackmailed him. All right.
It was only 58 seconds, so, you know.
Hey, at least it kept the Scotsman's attention span.
Under 3 minutes.
Yep, gotta have it under 3. Well, thanks. So yeah, I was wondering if it was going to get up there, but I know you've been doing some traveling, taking care of the daughter out there. So he was a busy man.
Yep, I did over 2,000 miles in 6 days. And by the way, I have to say for the record, the people of Georgia, they suck as the drivers. They don't get out of the way. I don't know if they just do it to New Yorkers, but they suck. They in the left lane, blocking the traffic. Nobody moves out of their way. And what's up with the freaking highway? You're on a highway doing 75. All of a sudden, there's a goddamn traffic light in the middle of the freaking highway. What the hell is up with that?
Am I supposed to go now, Scotsman?
Yeah.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Good to see y'all. Man, it's good to have Kingpin on here, but we'll miss Alan. I appreciate the link, and I appreciate spending time with you guys on Sunday night. And Val, learn how to drive, buddy.
Hey, Jamie, how many license plates do cars have to have in Georgia? Do they have one or two?
Just one.
Okay. In New York, they have to have two. So that's why you get that, because the people from Georgia see that front license plate and they know that invaders are there.
Yeah, plus I was driving a BMW, so that probably pissed them off too.
No, we're laughing at BMWs.
You probably drove it like a typical BMW driver or a Mercedes driver or anything like that.
Well, it's not my car, so.
Yeah, you drove it like shit.
No, you get out of the way when you look in the rearview mirror and you see somebody going faster. But Georgians don't use a rearview mirror.
In Georgia,
North Carolina, South Carolina, they've been pretty cool. Virginia, they kind of suck too.
in Georgia, only one mirrors don't matter because they don't care what's behind them, only what's in front of them.
All right, Chris, maybe you can answer this question.
Uh, I use. I think I got a crush washer on my MBX, but I got an O-ring on my tandem cross. So I kind of, I don't know. We were talking about that in the back chat earlier about the Scotsman's having an issue with some timing on one of his. So you might want to try a couple different things, but a lot of the 9mm ones now are using the O-ring.
Yeah, on mine 9, I think I used a jam down on mine when I was doing my 9. I'd have to look and double check, but I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I'm still having some issues with this 50 Beowulf build. It's driving me up the wall. Now the last part of it is this damn muzzle brake one time. I've never had so many issues with building the rifle ever. This thing is ridiculous. I'm about ready to freaking throw it.
Okay, so could it be the thread depth? Like you don't have enough threads to get it timed right? Is that possible?
No, I think there's plenty on there. I mean, there's a lot on the muzzle brake too, though, so that could be some of it. But I've tried spacers and all the rest of it. I'll get it figured out eventually.
Well, if you tamper with any of the threads in a barrel or any of the threads on the brake, that's a huge no-no without paperwork and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, it's not something that. I mean, you can do threading and stuff like that. It's not a big deal because it's already a threaded barrel anyway, so it's not a big deal. But not like I'm doing a suppressor or anything like that. But generally not something I'm going to tamper with right now. I don't really have the machinery for it, but we'll get it figured out. There we go. There's AccuWasher. There you go.
Is it possible you just got the wrong brake? You got to get a different brake.
No, it's a custom brake for it, so it's should be right. I mean, I had a lot of issues getting the freaking brake, but that's a whole nother story. I did a video on that a while back. That was the whip machine brake. It was supposed to be here within 8 weeks and took almost 6 months.
The Lewis brake, is that a Lewis machine and tool brake?
Whip machine, not Lewis. Whip machine. I've got another one of their brakes, and I don't have any problems with it, but this custom one seems to be a pain in the butt too. We'll see. Like I said, I'll get it figured out. I always do.
I just looked that AccuWasher up. That's a pretty cool kit. It's got a bunch of different shims, but they're all on different degrees. So I bet that would work good for you. I might order a set of those just to have them on the bench.
All right, so what's the difference between these AccuWashers that you're going to order from some company somewhere and washers that you can go to the hardware store and pick up?
That's a
Well,
good question.
Do a
they
share
all
screen,
they have
Chris.
different. They're all different thicknesses, so you can stack them like if he's like 18 degrees off, he can stack them.
I had a good experience with just a crush washer on my AR. That's all I did, and timed the muzzle brake exactly the way I wanted. Although it's not a muzzle brake, it's a SGC comp. But that being said, I did use the regular washers before on muzzle brake to get it what I wanted. So I don't really think there's a huge difference. I mean, technically, it's just a spacer. That's all it is.
I wasn't sure if there was like something like an alloy that the guy at the gun store is going to sell you that his washers are made out of that withstand pressures and won't scratch your gun and all that kind of different stuff. I get it, a piece of metal with a big enough hole in it should work, but
Honestly, I don't think it makes a whole lot of freaking difference, in the material. It's really technically it's just a spacer. So something like a crush washer, or if you got a set of different thicknesses, makes life easier. But I don't see why regular washer from a hardware store wouldn't work. Probably won't look as pretty, but
Yeah, usually crush washers will work fine, or I've like I said, I've never usually had an issue, but this freaking build has just been a nightmare. From the minute I bought the handguard, it's been a nightmare.
So
well,
what do y'all think is the most revolutionary thing that's changed the way we build ARs?
hmm.
To me, it's been the clamp on handguards, because we used to have to put them shims behind the muzzle brake to get everything exactly right. Or is that just me? Am I an idiot?
No, I like that. Being able to bolt it right to the nut now.
Well, yeah, it gives you a free floating barrel. So I guess yeah, that's gotta be it. Didn't they also change the lower a little bit now with that bottom pin, and now you got like a screw over there that you can adjust the fit between the upper and lower. Like my lower is old school, and I have the little rubber accu wedge.
Some do. Most of your Aero Precision will have it, and a few other companies do it too.
Yeah, there you
Not
go. Razor said it's free float barrels.
I mean, I think there's a lot of things because they are platforms already. It's already set up to assemble and disassemble and reassemble in different ways and take it apart and do it again. So if I was going to say what's the biggest thing that's changed in the way that we build ARs, it's the ingenuity of the people building them. The first guy that comes out with a really cool Cerakote paint job and starts a trend. Um, the being able to put the hand guard on where your delta ring you can just unscrew instead of having to pull down and pull off. People complained about that enough to where, like you guys are talking about now, the M-lock free float hand guards are the real popular thing. So the jigs, people can buy a jig. Why? Because people wanted to buy jigs, and then more people bought jigs, and they got cheaper and cheaper, and more companies started making them. So if I had to say what is the number one thing, I would say it would be the ingenuity that you guys brought forth and put on videotape for the public to see.
I think my favorite tool goes, as far as in building them, would be the new lug that goes inside the barrel on the upper, so I don't have to use the clamps and the vise anymore. I love being able to just stick it right inside the barrel. Torque on them a lot harder too, and not have to worry about cracking anything. That's probably one of my favorite new tools I've gotten.
Also, the drop-in trigger. That's a big thing. You don't have to mess around trying to figure out file this, file that, worry about thing going freaking full order. I was messing with a mil-spec trigger, and I wound up having trigger that did a burst fire, so that's dangerous. Now you just buy a drop-in trigger with pretty much any poundage you want, stick it in there, put 2 pins, done.
Yeah, those drop-in triggers, that's the one positive experience that I have had with the ARs. You can turn a good gun into a fantastic gun.
Yeah, and they're getting more and more affordable every day. There's you can buy a nice drop-in trigger for $100.
This is where I'm at with that. I think there's two things that make an accurate rifle. Number one, obviously the barrel, but number two, the trigger. If you're pulling on the trigger so hard that you're gritting your teeth, there's no way you're going to be able to shoot an accurate group.
100%. About 2 or 3 years ago, Joey Cuz was up here, and he had the snowflake rifle he won from Ibami. That thing had like a freaking, I kid you not, it was like a 10-pound trigger. Like we couldn't zero the damn thing no matter what we tried. It just the trigger was horrible on that.
And the pull weight is not everything involved in it either, Val, right? I mean, if it's gritty or if it's light then hard then light then hard or, that kind of stuff. If it's a consistent 8 pounds, that's one thing. But if it's gritty and changing the pull weight, there's KFW. What's up, bud?
Nah, this was like a trigger. Like you keep pulling on the trigger and you keep flipping the safety because you think you still have a safety on it. That's why you're not. It just is. It was ridiculous. I hope you changed that.
Have any of y'all tried the Rave triggers?
The Rise Armament ones. I think I got 3 of them now. They're great triggers for the money.
Yeah, I got one in a 9mm AR. I got trigger tech in my T-gun rifle.
I've got the cheapest one, the 140, in one of my ARs, and you're right, it changes things big time.
Yeah, as far as drop-in triggers go, my favorite drop-in trigger is probably a James Madison trigger. They do an awesome job. If you look around, you can find them for under $100, and probably one of the best triggers you'll ever shoot for under $100. They do the curved trigger and the flat trigger. I prefer the flat trigger, but I put them in just about every AR I do, and it's an awesome trigger.
You see what G23 wrote about, Rob? Man, that's brutal.
Well, he has to close his eyes because he's got the new compliant bastardized freaking rifle.
Yeah, but it sure does look good in his R&L Displays AR display kit that you can get at rndldisplays.com. American made,
Oh,
American products, veteran owned.
Ah, there we go. Shameless
I
plug.
see what you did there.
Paid endorsement.
Um, who was it? I think it was Tactical Fudd said he'd never shot a flat trigger. I haven't either. Was that you, Fudd?
Yeah, he's saying he hasn't shot one.
I'm a big fan of flat triggers.
I wish I never would have shot one. Now everything has to have a flat trigger in it now. I don't like the curved ones anymore.
Well, what's the science between the flat versus the curved trigger? Like, what's the idea behind why would they have flattened triggers out in the first place?
For me, I like it a lot because it's easier to get your finger where you want it on the trigger itself. On the curved trigger, it's too easy to go too far, um, slap the trigger, and all kinds of stuff like that. It's less likely you're less likely to do that with a flat trigger.
It's a matter of preference. Curved trigger are usually they either work for you or they don't. Flat trigger generally work for everybody because you can find the right spot. With a curved trigger, depending on your finger, it might not work for you.
And then they got those triggers that are kind of in between. They got not as much of a curve, but a little bit of curve is still there, but yet they're not flat.
Those are trans trigger.
The
They can
sphincters of
decide.
what?
Those are trans, like transgender triggers,
The
because they can't
sphincters of
decide
what?
if they're curved or flat. Yeah, wrap pendants. Timney triggers are nice, but the Timney trigger in my AR, you got to keep it clean. That's the problem, because you literally, if you don't keep it clean, you'll wind up with a dead rifle. It happened to me on a couple of occasions. That crab would got in it and would lock up the rifle. The rifle doesn't work. So that's although they're really nice, they're crisp and all that, but you gotta keep them clean. That's one of the reasons I took a Timmy out of my three gun rifle and put a trigger tech diamond in it.
One thing I'm encouraged about is the price of these cartridge type triggers are coming down. They're not near as pricey as they used to be, unless you get a Geisley Super Auto. That stuff is expensive.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has come down in price here, which even with inflation, a lot of stuff's still staying pretty cheap as far as building goes.
Plus, it also depends what like a razor said. It all depends like what you're doing. Like a flat triggers are mostly for like a fast trigger work. So your three gun rifle or something like that is gonna be different than your Remington 700 or Accuracy International that you're gonna be shooting at a long distance where you're taking your time. So
Everything else comes down to application. It might not what works for me, it might not work for you.
yeah, there's a lot of personal preference.
Somebody out there mentioned two-stage triggers. When you get yourself a old Milcert military rifle, the two-stage trigger in those, you can, man, If you're used to a single stage trigger, it changes the way you think. It changes the way you shoot. It changes the way you think about shooting. I put it that way.
I think Pistol Pete's drinking tonight.
Well, it's Sunday. Who isn't? Well, anyway, I'm supposed to go down to South Carolina again next month to shoot a 3-gun with a X-ring and a rig. I was working on my semi-long range skills because last year I sucked. I couldn't hit anything past 300 yards because I had no idea where how the BDC works on my scope because I never shot it past 300. But I got a video on it. I literally wind up putting a big, like a 4-foot piece of cardboard at 400 and 500 yards and figure out what my bullet drop is and matching it to BDC in my reticle and figure out where I got a hole. But at least now I know.
Yeah, about this.
Damn, that's a good looking dude.
Hey, I set a target up there right around it to make it a comparable size. That might be what you call one of those that creases the paper.
Yeah, there's that.
Come on, that was a good video.
Of course, you had to have your kid make it for you. You couldn't do it damn self.
No, that was a practice for him because this is what he went to college for.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that was a practice for him for his future job.
It's a great excuse.
Well, I'm sticking with it.
You couldn't just get on screen and say, "Hey, Daniel, congratulations, you won, man. Good job."
Hey, listen, it's right there. It's in the video. It's cheers. It's congratulations. Everything is right there. Although Daniel's, awfully resembles our president awfully a lot because he kind of drives around on the road just to get to his freaking target, and target's only 40 yards away. Somehow he winds up on the road.
40 yards away. No,
50,
Scotsman.
whatever.
Yeah, Scotsman can tell you the yardage because he shot it. Chris was there.
Either way, you didn't shoot it with a Glock and left-handed, so I still
A
say
Glock.
it's rigged.
A Glock. I would miss everything with a Glock. Except the Glock, I would hit it. You put a Glock up there, I'll get a tight group.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I think in the spirit of good sportsmanship, you should congratulate the victor in fine fashion and hold him praise because you got to remember he won. So if you're demeaning your opponent who beat you, you're really even more so demeaning yourself.
All right. In the same fashion, I'm guessing you're praising Biden then because he won. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, but you still didn't follow the criteria of the payment for the losing the bet.
Of course I did.
Daniel, do you feel like that was uplifting, enlightening, and smooching all over you?
I don't give a flying fuck how he feels. This is not a woke kind of bullshit thing. He's got his fucking video. If he doesn't like it, he can shove it where the sun doesn't shine. That's about how I
Hey,
feel about it.
I'm not the one that
His video is
set the
fucking dumb,
criteria.
you
I
know?
didn't set the criteria. We can go back and look at a past live chat, and we can see exactly who set the criteria on what had to be done.
I still say it was Rick. No fucking way, old man. They can't shoot for shit. Won.
Wait,
Yeah,
you wanted the side chat to vote on who wins.
yeah. It was Rick, 100%.
Okay, you set the rules, then you can.
Yeah. I guarantee Jamie probably got Stacey Abrams involved, and she rigged the whole thing.
Hold on a minute. I've never been in a shooting competition where it was subjective as to who won or who lost.
Well, 100%. This was subjective.
Well,
It was not subjective. It was clear as day. We just did the vote just because.
Yeah.
I think you get a target and some calipers and you measure your groups and it's done. I mean,
Oh, when we get to the groups, then I definitely won because he didn't even get all 10 of them on the freaking steel.
That was just the one video with two hands. The one video with the one hand, how many was on there?
I don't know. I got all of them all the time, even with the left hand. So I'm just saying.
No, I remember watching some of yours. You didn't hit them all left hand.
Yes, I did. I went
But-
5 for 5. Shot 5 shots. I had 5 hits.
5 for 5. It was supposed to be 10 shots.
Yeah, but I think.
What can I say? I did a couple of them
Yeah.
were just one shot. They were heart shots, so why should
Yeah,
waste
yeah.
time more?
Yeah, a
bullets?
couple of them, the target was slightly bigger than it was supposed to be. Yeah.
No,
I know.
but you know what? I think we're talking about between Kingpins and Wald's videos. I liked Kingpins. That made me laugh.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And Firearms 101, you're full of shit.
Look, nobody's saying that you didn't do an excellent job of shooting, Val. Everybody, I would say, speaking for everybody, if I may, chat, you did a fantastic job shooting. 40, 50 yards with a pistol is impressive no matter who you are. But Daniel just did so much better.
Yeah, okay.
And there was presentation.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You did
Well,
value. You did some great shooting, and you're off your left hand shooting there, your weak hand. You shot a lot better with left. I'm getting worried about you. I think you lean left a little too much. Being in New York and all, you need to get
Hopefully not for long.
get you in your proper mind.
Hopefully not for long, being in New York. That's the plan.
Yeah, and you get out to the.
Either way, it's done. You got your praise video up there. Enjoy.
Hey, it's out there. I was starting to get really depressed because I didn't see it, and I was getting a little sad.
I still
tried
think Kingpin's video was much better.
Kingpins was from the heart.
Yeah, okay. I started to feel like you're picking on me, you motherfuckers.
Just really? No.
You're only just starting to feel that?
Well, I kept telling you that it takes an intelligent person to insult me, so all you are safe. You don't have to worry about that, okay?
We don't have to
You
insult
should
you.
be worried when we're not insulting you.
Yeah.
I'm not worried, period. There's not a whole lot I worry about. Life's too short to be worried about bullshit things.
Rob Painless, I agree with you. Chris has been pretty quiet the whole time,
Chris
just
is
laughing
sitting
on
by
mute.
watching your show.
Hey, Chris came out here and he beat me. So, Chris, I think you can kick Val's ass.
If I'm gonna come up there, I'm gonna beat you up, not just beat you.
Chris, tell him about the laws in Ohio.
That would be fun to have him come out.
It would be. He'd be hearing banjos in the background.
I don't think anyone wants to see that video. Sorry, Fuzz. I don't think anyone wants to see that.
Fuzz, I got some friends that work at the fire department, and I could definitely get a long stream produced.
And see, there's another situation where, like Daniel said, talking about the laws in Ohio versus the laws in New York, Bald might be able to win because Bald can pee anywhere in public in New York. Daniel, if you go out in public and pee in Ohio, you're probably going to jail.
Now I can pee right off my porch.
That's
Oh,
not
yeah.
really public. That's your house. Bald could climb on the top of the Empire State Building and rain down on everybody, and then have a huge stream and not even get arrested.
No,
Yep.
he'd get a medal. He'd get a medal for it. Out here, we just got these laws, Constitution open,
To the city.
constitutional concealed. My side by side, it's road legal.
Yeah, but all these laws we have in New York, they protect us.
So, Chris,
Protect
what
you
you
from
got going
having
on,
fun.
man? What's
I have no
going on?
idea what from, but they protect us.
What you got going on, Chris? What's new with you, man? What's happening? What's upcoming for you?
I got a ton of filming done over the weekend. I just had a lot of optics show up at the house that I had to get stuff done, and I'm trying to get as many. I tried to film all weekend because I got double header matches next weekend. I'm shooting Saturday, and then I'm shooting 2 matches back to back on Sunday, and then I'll be heading to Talladega for nationals. I'm not shooting in. I'm just going down there with my best friend to hang out with him down there all week. But so I'm just trying to get as much stuff filmed so I can have stuff uploading while I'm gone. I was supposed to go to practice with Jason Stewart today, but the weather wasn't playing nice, so we canceled that. And we're going to go Tuesday night.
Yeah, the weather's been up and down the last couple of days. Couldn't make up its mind what it wanted to do.
So, Bald, I got a question for you. When you do move to a free state, how hard is it going to be to change up your stage planning? Since right now you got to change your mag every 10 rounds. What's it going to be like when you can run 21, 22 rounds in a mag?
Well, we shoot matches in Pennsylvania and Massachusetts, so we do get to use American magazine. So, it's not really new to me.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely not. That's definitely something I'm looking forward. That and buying a suppressor. That's going to be the very first thing I'm going to do.
Now, do you, like when you do go to shoot in Pennsylvania or Massachusetts, is it a little bit of a speed like, do you have an advantage on everybody a little bit because you're so used to having to change so many mags? Now you're cutting your mag changes in half. So
yeah,
like
but also keep in mind that carry optics, you basically only doing one reload most
Right.
of the time. And the way they set up the stages up here in New York, the way they set them up is, the way the stages are set up, that you're not really losing time with mag changes, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
They kind of make it fair for everybody. So it's really if you go to states like that, the flow of the stages are more that where you run and gun and you get to use your entire magazine, opposed to over here they cut it up. So you shoot 10 over here, you shoot 10 over here, you gotta move somewhere. So at the same token, you're reloading. It's not, like I would shoot the same stage. Let's say with the 23 round, 223 round magazines, and it would only be maybe second difference, to be honest.
Yeah. Now I was just like watching them. It's interesting to watch your match videos. It's just crazy. Like for me to watch a match in New York versus a match here, and just the amount of mag changes you have to do is crazy.
Well, practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm pretty sure IDPA is a 10-run limit too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but also the round count in IDPA is 16 to 18 rounds. So most of the stages, again, you're only doing one reload. Rarely you have stage where you're doing two reloads in IDPA. So again, it's just a game. It's like if you're shooting production, you're down to 10 rounds. So it's the same. It's the same thing. I mean, in a typical stage, there's only so much time you're gonna save not having a reload because you still gotta move, you gotta plan the stage. I mean, yes, if you're shooting production, you're down to 10 rounds, and it's a stage designed for the free state, then yeah, you're gonna approach it differently than if you're shooting carry optics and you have a 23 rounds, in your gun and another 23 on your belt.
And what I want says about there too, it's all practice and just keep practicing. That's what it comes down to. Time on the range.
Like it also depends on the stage because now we got the PCC guys. They load up with a 45 round magazine, so they almost never have to reload. But depends on just because they don't have to reload doesn't mean they're gonna necessarily win the match because it all depends how the stages are set up.
Chris, how many rounds do you usually have in your PCC?
So my main mag with the MBX extension holds 47, but I put 43 in it. Once I go over that 43 mark, every now and then I get a failure to feed. So just 43 seems to be the sweet spot with that mag, and I shouldn't technically need any more than that to get through a stage. Although I
Yeah,
have ran it
most
dry
of
once.
most of the what's the biggest round count? 32 rounds or 34 rounds or something like that for a
Yeah.
USPSA stage.
Yeah.
All right, so what happens if you get to the last, I don't know, I'll just make up, last two targets and you're completely out of ammunition?
You throw the gun at them.
Well, is it a disqualification automatically, or do they add 10 seconds, 20 seconds? Like, how do they figure out?
No, the whole scoring is times plus points, or actually points divided by time. So you just don't get the points. Every alpha is 5 points. So if you got two targets that you didn't engage at all, now you're losing 20 points. Plus you're getting failure to engage on two targets. So that's another 3 second penalty or something like that.
Well, yeah, that's what I was getting at. They would have to penalize you time and points
Yep.
because it would be unfair. Because where are you going to stop your timing at?
Yep.
So yeah, okay, that makes sense. You get the penalty time, and then you don't get the points for hitting the targets.
Exactly.
Plus, Kingpin, I carry two backup 30 rounders on me. I don't very rarely ever have to use them, but I do have two extra mags on my belt if I have to use them.
Now, is there generally, I guess, one contest somewhere might have the rule, but are most contests you could have 100 magazines in your pockets if you want? Can you carry? Is there a set of rules that say you can only have 50 total rounds in your pocket or something?
No, there's no.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
As many as you can fit on your belt. IDPA, you can only have two magazines on the belt, but the rule says you can have more magazines on you, like if you want to have them in the pocket or something. But you only allow one in the gun and two on your belt. But the USPSA, you can carry as many magazines as you want. But keep in mind, because this is what the whole 10 round limit comes to. I shot a match Area 8 a couple of years ago down in Pennsylvania, and I shot a limited division, and basically I had 5 magazines loaded, 20 rounds each, 40 caliber, on my belt because that's what I'm used to. Having full belt of magazines. But in New York, it's only 10 rounds, so I need all the mags. Up there, I didn't need them, and now you're running through the stage, you're dropping mags because you got 100 rounds on you, and you only need 30. So then you figure out, like, if I'm shooting carry optics in the free state, I generally have one in the gun and 2 magazines on the belt. I got one for the reload, and I got one for emergency reload if something goes wrong. Because it's also weight, you can't.
You got to think about what you're carrying, how much you got on you. The more you have on you, obviously, it's going to affect how you move.
So what's the reasoning behind separating? And I guess maybe pistol would be more. The PCC might be a little bit different because of the length of barrel. But why is 9mm all in one class? Like, how come I can't carry my 45 and you carry your 9 and the next guy carries 380?
No, you
If we're
can.
just popping steel, what difference does it make?
Like in the USPSA, you can shoot any caliber you want. I mean, you can shoot 380, 9 mils the minimum. But there's no point of shooting 45 in a production or carry optics because first you're gonna be limited on a mag capacity, and second you're just gonna fight more recoil. So what's the point? The only divisions that you want to shoot 40 and above would be limited, where you need 40 to be a major power factor, which means you are scored differently because you're shooting major power factor, so you get few extra points. If you're shooting open, and if you're shooting single stack. So in those divisions, you get a choice. You can shoot minor and you can shoot major. So in other words, you can shoot a single stack with a 9mm 1911, and you can shoot it with a 45 1911. The difference is going to be in scoring. You're still going to get 5 points for the alpha, but if you hit Charlie, you get what is it? You get 3 points for if you're shooting minor, but you get 4 points if you're shooting major. If you hit Delta, you only get 1 point if you're shooting minor, but you get 2 points if you're shooting major. So if you're shooting all alphas, it doesn't matter. You might as well shoot a 9mm. Make sense?
Slightly.
Clear as mud.
Yeah, just about. I mean, scoring in the USP is a little effed up. It's a little like that's why I like IDPA because it's all time. It's simple, you know. Everything just they add it to your time, and whoever's got the lowest time wins. In the USPSA is different because everything is about speed. So if let's say you're shooting major power factor, you're shooting open gun, and I'm shooting carry optics. Okay, we're shooting same stage, and let's say you're gonna shoot the whole stage 3 seconds faster than me, and you have a mic, but I'm gonna shoot it 3 seconds slower, but I won't have a mic, but I'm gonna have more deltas than you or something, and you're still gonna wind up winning the stage than me.
So when you say open, does that mean I can trick out a gun any way I want to and bring it and shoot?
Pretty much. The only limitation is I don't think there is. I mean, it's just gotta fit in the box. Even that's probably not true. I don't think it's gotta fit in the box anymore. I think it's pretty much anything goes. The only limitation is the magazines can be more than 140 millimeter.
I thought in open they could be longer. Like, aren't they 170
Oh, 170 maybe. Yeah, maybe
in
it's
open,
140.
but
Yeah,
they're 140 for everybody else?
yeah, man. Maybe that's the way it is.
That's why you see a lot of guys shoot 9 major because they can still hit their major power factor, but still have the same capacity as everybody else shooting 9mm. That's why 9 major is such a popular round in the USPSA.
So
And the
what
hits
about?
just keep coming.
So if I just like bought a gun, made no changes, and came out to shoot, that would be production.
Yes.
Okay.
But if you put a red dot on it, then you're going into carry optics.
So like Hot Pot's guns that we see where he's tricked them out and put magwells on there and comps and all that, that's open.
Yes, but he's shooting open minor. So,
Okay.
but Gene's a lot like me. Like he's just shooting for fun. He's not trying to. So like if you're gonna shoot an open gun, you definitely want to shoot major power factor because you're killing yourself. That's why carry optics we're not allowed to have magwells. So like if I like for instance if I wanted to get like I'm gonna shoot a carry optics match a week from today, I'm gonna take my magwell off before I go because I can't run the magwell. If I go there and show up with a magwell on, then I get bumped to open.
Yep.
So I'm gonna take the magwell off before I shoot the match.
What is that? What is Magwell? What's that got to do with anything? What's that mean?
It's just rules.
Yeah, it's just rules they have.
I hate to be a smart aleck, but they have a rule called Magwell. Yeah, I
No.
need you to explain to
a
me what you're talking
magwell
about. Like
on the
why?
bottom,
Yeah.
where you
Mhm.
put your mag in.
All right.
Okay, it's flared out, so you can hit it a lot easier because it'll guide it right into the mag, right into the gun.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought you were talking about. But these guys are a little bit more advanced than I am, so I didn't know if it was like some other super secret cool thing that they knew about and I didn't.
No, there's just all kinds of rules as far as what you can have on the gun depending on what you're trying to shoot. It's all designed to try and make it fair.
Yeah, and then you gotta make a power factor. Even if you're shooting minor power factor, you still gotta make it. You gotta make a 125.
What does power factor have to do with anything if you're not knocking down targets?
It's just the rules. It's just a certain power factor you have to be at in order to shoot a division. If you're gonna shoot limited and you wanna be major, then you gotta hit 165 power factor. The major competitions they actually take 7 rounds from you on the beginning, and when you get to the chrono stage, they take 1 round apart, they weigh the bullet, and then they shoot 3 rounds. As long as 2 of them make the power factor right away, you're done. If they don't, they're gonna shoot the rest of the bullets, and they're gonna overage it, make sure that you're making power factor. Let's say you're shooting the open and you're not making 165 power factor, then they're gonna bump you down to minor, and they're gonna scrub your scoring. And then let's say you're shooting production and you don't make a power factor, then you're pretty much done. You're just shooting for fun. You're not getting scored.
And
Hold on,
again,
Abigail. Just
power factor's there to kind of make it fair.
Abigail, you can't shoot bigots just because they're bigots. If they're doing something, yeah, then you can shoot them. Just say.
And you got to watch the rules change all the time too. Every time they put someone else in place, as far as who's running it, they change the rules a little bit.
Yeah, Ray's right. It's just a game. Like any other game, there's rules. That's all it is. You know. Sometimes you can game it. Like for example, the new ruling says you can have a flashlight on a gun. That's why I have that log with that big chunk 8-ounce brass light, and I got called out at the competition when they make sure it's a light. So I had to go and show them. Yes, it puts up the whole 2 lumens or whatever, but it's a flashlight. The only stipulation in the rule says it's got to be working flashlight. That's all.
Tip
Yeah,
a
that was
mag
one of
light
the
to that
biggest
thing.
changes last year was what we were allowed to carry. We're allowed to have lights on the carry optics now, and then now you're allowed to carry appendix too.
Yep.
Which,
And they raised the weight limit. Was it 45 ounces or something now?
yeah.
Hey, we don't discriminate around here, Razor.
I said
We're all fair game.
I said bigots, but yeah,
We don't say midgets, we say little people.
yeah, but bigots are bigots, and they know who they are.
Hey, look, if midgets didn't want to get shot, they wouldn't be shoulder height.
They're more like hip height.
I have a
Hip fire
I,
to them.
I have a serious question. What anybody knows what the difference is between enzyme and a hormone?
What are we doing? Your kids' homework?
No,
No,
it's a joke.
I'm asking. Like, does anybody know the difference between an enzyme and a hormone? Come on, side chat.
Tell us, tell us, Val.
Well, you can't hear the enzyme.
Well done. Well done.
I knew it was going to be bad.
Well done. I approve. I approve. You should have been in Gary's chat earlier today.
Mark Thomas. Come on, it was a legitimate question.
Dang, G. Never mind. How do you know that, buddy?
I don't know. Him and Mark Thomas must know the same girl.
Yeah, they must go to the same truck stop.
Double slam.
Kingpin, we're almost halfway through, brother. You want to run through the side chat?
Indeed, I will. If I may ask the chat for a favor, if people would like to play along, just give a tip of the hat to CW by typing a 1 in the chat, if you wouldn't mind. CW was out there listening a little earlier, so let's give him a 1 in the chat just to let him know we're thinking about him, if you would, please. We got CW out there. We got Daniel God as my judge. We got Lakeview Outdoors. Chrisman the 740 also on the panel with Daniel. Jason Stewart's out there. Scotsman checked in for a little bit out there too. Then we got Buck the Tactical Fud. Good to see you, Buck. Rich White, who will be going live after Scotsman's at 8:30. Rich will be going live, so when you're done here, go check him out on the Unloaded Media. Edward Petty, Broke Loader 2. Let's see, Mrs. Hotshot is out there, or Miss Hotshot. Andy Z2978 has joined us. Let's see who else we got. We got the Fuzz Fork out there. And Tacos and French Fries, always good to see you, Tacos. Trees a Blowing, Gizzard Gary, the one and only. Lead Bullet Junkie, Mark Thomas, and let's see, Chris is at Winset, has joined us. SKS Hugo's out in the chat tonight. And then we've also got Tim S. Abigail. Alan B. Prone was out there. He's probably back to sleeping. Island Gal joined us. Getting close, getting close. Razor JB, Bald and Curious. Ozzy Warsborn has joined us out there. Thank you for coming, Ozzy. Then we've also got JH586 checking in from inside the panel. Walter Bunnings out there. Good to see you, Walter. He's always good to listen to over on Jamie's chat Friday nights. Kyle's out there. Garage Guy, Hobo, Hobbies Hobo, Wielding Well Armed. Wielding Well Armed's got a lot of cool stuff. He's got a lot of different type of guns. Like, you're not going to see a bunch of Glocks and stuff on his channel. He's got all kinds of cool, interesting stuff, so definitely check him out. G23's out there. Let's see, got a good crew going. Let's see, Rob D, New York Outcast. Haven't called him out yet. And I think, let's see, I might have got everybody that I see on this list. If I
Rob
didn't,
Painless.
Rob Painless is out there. Thank you, Daniel. Big Al, of course. Didn't want to miss Big Al. And let's see, D-Dub D37 checked in with us. Anna Lee Brown, can't forget Anna Lee Brown. Krabby Turtle. Pistol Pete's joined us tonight. That's good. Good to see Pistol Pete. KFW, Jamie gave him a shout out a little earlier. All right, let's see. Gunpowder Beauty's going to throat punch somebody tonight. 2 Live Mooas out there. That's probably who's going to get throat punched. Call them. Fuzz, Warcock, Fuzz. I think I'm getting close there, Scotsman.
All
Ghost
right.
Riders joined us tonight. Let's see. Reloader, Red Reloader, Reloader 762 I saw out there. Viborg, of course, has joined us. Firearms 101.
So why you gotta pick on 2 Live Moo?
Oh, I'm not picking on him. This Gunpowder Beauty likes punching him in the throat for some reason.
Trees are blowing.
Yep, Teresa Blowman's out there. Real good channel from that dude. And I think Orange 9's out there. I've seen Orange 9. I'm getting close there, Scotsman. Walk with Al or Walk with AI. I'm not really too sure which one that is. James Pollard's out there. Georgia Trapping and Fishing. And there's a lot of people joining us. Hopefully all these people hit the thumbs up button. And then. I'm going to say that is everybody, Scotsman.
All right, awesome. Thank you, man.
And thank you, everybody, for dropping the one out there for CW.
Yeah, I'm talking to CW pretty much daily, see how he's doing, keep up with him.
Yeah, he was texting me bright and early this morning. Be glad to have him back on the chat. I know that.
Right. Yeah, I was texting with him earlier. I asked him if he had any hot nurses hanging out with him, you know, at least keeping him somewhat good company. So, yeah. Got to make sure he's got some eye candy at least.
We'll see you, Rich. Have a good show, man.
Jamie, how we doing on the Willie?
I'm trying to figure out a glitch right now. Somebody sent a donation and it's apparently over my limit, which I didn't know I had a value set.
For those of you that don't know what's going on with CW, he had a pretty major heart attack. He's going in for surgery this week. Pretty major surgery. So.
He just had one heart attack, and it was mild enough that he drove himself to the hospital, but it was also severe enough that they didn't let him go home. So there's that. There's kind of weird there. But yeah, we do keep getting donations for the Wood fundraiser, and as of today, not including the um, donation that was just made.
Nice.
Awesome.
Wow. Nice. Very nice.
Thanks, guys. And I know this is really going to help Melissa keep the lights on and keep the roof over her head for a while.
That was the whole point of my 2A Heroes series. And I wanted to do a video every month, but or every day, it just didn't work out. So I apologize to everybody that I missed. That number that you just showed and the list of gifts that people are donating and all the different stuff that happens on these chats to help people, right? You guys are the heroes. You don't need to look to the NRA and the next politician and Donald Trump and Joe Biden. When you want to find out how we're going to solve these problems, it's going to be Daniel, it's going to be Abigail, it's going to be Floyd. We're the 2A heroes. Well, you are the 2A heroes. And Jamie just proved it right there with that little number that he just showed.
Right. You guys are the ones that all step up to the plate.
Your TV's really loud, Bold. Like you got to mute up or do something. You're getting a lot of playback. Either that or it's Scotsman.
Yeah, I ain't got no TV over here.
Yeah, the TV in your background's coming through like super loud right now.
I ain't got no TV here.
But then it must be the playback from us talking or something.
He's got demons in the house.
Or there's that. He wouldn't have demons in his house if he'd have just paid up his bet fairly.
I got AC running. Is that it?
What is it that's running?
AC.
If that's the case, then never mind. We'll just deal with it.
It could be that. Yeah.
Hang on.
It's been driving me nuts, the whole chat.
Is it better now?
That's better.
That was definitely it.
Sorry about that. Should have said something sooner. That's why I switched to headphones. I figured it won't pick up the AC.
Central air.
I don't have a central air down here. I have it upstairs. Down here, I don't have it. And you know, I was gonna put a split ductless system, but at this point, I don't want to put a fucking dime into this house. I just want to sell it.
Orange,
Oh,
bad,
look at that.
bad.
Look at that. We throw that up and Bart goes off screen. Get me vibrator away.
Orange, bad, bad.
My question is, how does he know what a vibrator sounds like?
How do you know Orange 9's a guy?
Oh, that's true.
Well, we can all recognize the sound of vibrations. And when that thing starts going off next to you on the table, we all hear it. We just are too gentlemanly to say anything about it.
No. Jane, no.
No.
Outcast got it. He's got somebody trapped in the closet.
Yeah, this is not his neck of the woods. I mean, in his hood, yeah, that's probably daily occurrence. Not over here. Yep, James is right. The chat is off the rails. And I'm not Russian.
James, when is it ever on the rails?
Do Americans, like, say you're in some European country and one of the Germans come up to you while you're at the pub and say, "Hey, bud, what's up?" And you're like, "Oh, hey, man, how you doing?" And you're like, "Oh, you're American." Do you get offended? And you're like, "I'm not American. I'm a New Yorker."
Only
No,
if
I
you're a
don't.
Democrat.
Only foreigners do that. Like when you're in America and I'm like, hey, Mario, how was it growing up in Pakistan? He's like, oh, I'm not Pakistani, I'm Egyptian.
I thought Mario's Mexican.
But I mean, either way, you get my point though. Like people come to America and it's got to be like, oh, I'm not that. I'm. Come on, man. Come on.
Look,
It's all France.
here's the thing, dude. Both myself, Val, El Tenda, and a bunch of others out there work very hard to get to where we're at, and you better be damn well proud to say you're American.
Well, yeah, you're not gonna say to somebody from different country, "I'm in New York." No, you're American. You know, because that's your nationality. Being New Yorker, being I don't know Californian, whatever. That's a kind of secondary. And who the hell is gonna be proud of being from fucking New York?
Well, when Russia was the big conglomerate, what USSR, that was made up of a whole bunch of states, countries that made up the Soviet Union. We always called Soviet Union Russians, but now they broke up. And in the U.S., yeah, we got guys saying I'm a Texan, but that's when you're talking to fellow Americans here.
Aren't all Europeans really just French?
Yeah,
Yeah, but Texan is still an American. You know, with the Russia, we just call them all Russians, but they were really Soviets. So we call them that they are Soviet. They are. Doesn't matter if they're Russian, Ukrainian, Georgian, whatever. And now it's only Russian Federation.
we just looked at it like, hey, the USSR, they're all Russians. It doesn't matter what bloc country they're from. That's the way we grew up. So you'll always be Russian to us. An American Russian now. Like the Scottish American.
I'm just an American. That's it. I'm not Slovak American. I'm not Russian American. I'm an American. I spent most of my life over here, so I identify as 100% American.
Just wait till you move out of New
Oh,
York.
he puts right in. He identifies.
I'm just trying to give you an uplifting. Once you leave New York, you're going to find out what it is really like to be an American out there in the free state.
Hey, Scotsman, you know why I kept the video under 1 minute? So it kind of reminds you of his sex life.
That was pathetic.
Yeah.
Not true.
You know, Val used to make pornographic films. His screen name was Microwave Man. But it normally takes most men an hour. He does in 5 minutes.
I'm not even dignified with the response. And G23, we gotta start a GoFundMe for him and get him a globe of the world because he needs to realize the world is bigger than US. I don't have a Russian accent, James. That's not Russian. This is New York accent.
The Russian mob's taking over New York. So that's true.
It was funny because I spoke to KB on Friday, KB32. I called him about something, and he picks up the phone and he starts. He always does that Dracula accent, and he starts blasting that onto me.
Dracula accent.
Yeah, he does that. He always does that. He sounds like Dracula when he tries to sound like me.
Oh.
Man. I hate it when that happens because now I'm sitting here thinking, even though my video was so much better than Bald's video, kind of like how Daniel was so much better at shooting than Bald, I should have used the Dracula voice. Man,
You still got time for a redo?
Bald is like a coyote. He's always in season.
Uh,
I thought you were gonna say his hair is all mangy and he's got rabies.
I ain't
There's
got no
that.
hair.
That's what mangy means.
you gotta
James,
get
my
you gotta-
southern accent.
you gotta get us drunk first.
What is that a thing? Scottish people have a hard time with the word burglar.
Not necessarily.
So, what vowels can't Scottish people say?
It just depends, man. There's all kinds of stuff that comes out funny to you guys.
I'm just talking vowels. There's A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, sometimes W.
Uh-huh.
He's scared.
Thanks,
CNT
Karen.
Design just joined us.
What's going on, Coop?
So now you got Bald looking at New York Outcasts' behind. He's judging his behind.
You wouldn't understand. You're not from New York.
Thank goodness I'm not from New York. If I never have to go to New York again in my life or California, I'm
New
good.
York, New York is a great state. It's awesome state. It's just the fucking government sucks.
Mm-hmm.
State itself is it's gorgeous. I love it here. I would never move out of here if this wouldn't be so retarded government and we didn't have a New York City. If New York City falls into the goddamn ocean, that's probably the best thing that can happen to this state.
When I was in New York in the early 80s and I lived in Southern California in the mid 80s, and that's when it was cool back then. It wasn't this idiocracy that's going on now.
Now it's worse and worse. And now the new gun laws coming in effect on starting September 5th. That's completely retarded. I wonder how many people are gonna wind up with the felonies on their record because of all these new gun laws. They're trying to figure out how to do a background check on ammo purchasing. So right now that's on hold. So every retailer that sells ammo gotta keep track. You go buy a box of ammo, they gotta write down all the information from your driver's license.
Mark Thomas, man, I'm sorry. We missed that one. That's usually Alan's job.
I
Drop
did
the
plan.
ball.
I did plan to let the YouTube auditor know that they could eat a great big supersized greasy bowl of dicks today, and I just forgot to mention it. So I apologize, everybody.
But I found out why not last week's chat, but the chat before that was removed.
Why?
Misinformation.
Really? Oh, was that when Bald was telling me how he was so much better than me?
Oh, I don't have to tell you.
Bravo, Daniel.
I don't have to tell you.
Bravo.
Everybody knows that. I just show you. You know, you go.
Shit.
You watch any of my videos, and I just piss excellent.
Now let's hold
All
up.
right.
Let's wait a second. Let's not just brush over that. Let's recognize the comedy timing genius Daniel just had there. That was beautiful.
That's about the only thing he has.
Let's just recognize that the government's watching this because
Hey.
misinformation.
YouTube auditor, check this out. It's a crossbow.
So I have no idea exactly what was said in that chat that was misinformation, but there you go.
I told you.
That's all right. I'll take that one proudly. I'm all right with that.
Oh, let's look at that. The only person out there that's really likes like G23. He's a Glock guy, and he's probably from New York. I bet you New York Outcast didn't even vote for him though, and he's from New York. Oh, Jamie's not here. I was going to ask him because hunting season's coming up. So I'm almost ready to put the guns away and start breaking out the compound bows and the crossbows.
There he is.
There you go, Jamie. Do you got your hunting gear ready? Your season probably already came in, didn't it?
No, our archery season will start in the middle of September, but I don't ever go when it starts.
It's too hot.
It is down here. It's too hot, and the bugs will tote you off.
Mm-hmm.
We got mosquitoes the size of Japanese zeros.
You're profiling.
It's true, man. The bugs are nuts up there.
I don't like going out until after we had a couple of frost.
I know.
What's the point? What's the point of different weapon season? Aside from what you don't want some guy out there with a bow getting shot by somebody with a gun. I get that, but you also don't want some guy with a gun getting shot with somebody. So why is there a bow season and then there's a shotgun season and why did they separate the seasons like that?
Different strokes for different folks.
First of all, Kingpin, the rules and laws, hunting laws are different in every state. So what we have is archery season starts early and carries out, and then the last week of archery season before the firearm season starts is what we call muzzleloader season. So you only have that 1 week of muzzleloader season, and then firearm season is starts usually around the middle of October and goes through about the January the 10th to the 15th. Yeah, I've heard that Alaskan mosquitoes will make ours look small.
Mm.
So theirs are probably like B-52s. At least B-17s.
Yeah. See, in Ohio, the gun season, you can't use high-powered rifle, shotgun, muzzleloader, or straight walled cartridges.
But
Muzzleloader season,
you
can
still
only
didn't
use.
answer his question. He didn't ask about what season you have. He asked why. Why are
And
the
I,
what's the point? I don't understand it either. Like why is there different seasons for different guns? Why can you just for 3 months you can shoot deer with whatever the hell you want? Why is it
because
different? What's the point?
management. That's why every state has their own laws. Is management. Georgia has more deer than Ohio, so they have longer and more liberal gun season, and they can use a lot more high-powered guns than we can in Ohio.
And I think
Go ahead, Jamie.
I was going to say, I think one of the reasons that we're allowed to use high-powered bottleneck cartridges is because our terrain up here where I live anyway is very hilly, and there's not much danger of it going for 3,000 or 4,000 yards like in some places. If you shooting uphill to, you could send a projectile off a long way, especially down in South Georgia. But the laws are still very pretty much liberal down there. Now we're allowed to take 10 does and 2 antlered deer, so we conceivably could kill 12 deer in a season. But I've never known anybody that did that. I just don't.
That's kind of what I was figuring was uh, either you or Jamie, Daniel or Jamie mentioned the management, and they still want people to take deer out, but during certain times of the year they don't want to take they don't want them taking too many out. Where gun season, you're more likely to be able to kill more during gun season, I guess, because it's easier to use a gun and kill something than it is a bow and arrow.
Yeah, you don't
So
have
they want to
to.
get rid of more deer, they let people bring in guns.
You don't. You don't. You don't have to get as close with a rifle as you do with a bow and arrow. So the longest shot you're going to have with a bow and arrow is probably going to be 30, 35 yards. Uh, with a crossbow, you can uh, legitimately take an ethical shot out to about 60 to 65 yards. Not that I would do that, but some people shoot them at 100. I wouldn't. But with a bottleneck rifle cartridge, you can shoot them out to 200 or 300 yards.
But it still doesn't make a sense because if you have a limit on how many animals you can kill in a season, so what's the difference? What time of the season you kill them with what gun?
That's what they were talking about management, because the seasons are based on the breeding cycles of these animals, and
There's
they still want you to call the population. But during like the bow season, this is all my theory, so if I'm wrong, you guys can correct me. During the bow season, it's harder to kill an animal, so it gives them more opportunity to grow and be healthy and mate and do all the stuff that they're supposed to do during that season. But they still don't want 100 of them running out in the street. Yeah, I guess that's what. So my only thought is it's got to be something to do with like population control and breeding seasons.
Absolutely. Here in Georgia, during the rut, which is generally the first complete or second complete week of November, right in there, um, we get a lot of cars torn up from deer running out in the road. A lot.
yeah.
I was
See
reading Rob's.
here, the bow season is in during the rut, first 2 weeks of November.
I was reading Rob's comment out there, Rob Painless. That was so their crossbow season is different from their regular bow season. Now here you can use a crossbow or a bow all through bow season, right, Daniel?
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe it's the same in New York. You can use a crossbow during the rifle season, but you can use it during the bow season.
Okay. Yeah, here we can use them both all through. Michigan's weird too because their state's split. Like the lower half can only use straight wall and the upper half can use high power, like bottleneck.
Yeah. See here, you can use straight walled on deer now, and that's
Mm-hmm.
been more of a recent change. But because that whole thing was the bullet can travel out so far and hit somebody a mile away, but that don't hold water because you can use a bottleneck cartridge on a coyote, a groundhog. I mean, you can still use high powered rifles here, but just not on deer.
Yeah, that one's always frustrated me because we can hunt coyotes at night. We can use night vision. We can use any rifle. We can use anything we want.
Yeah.
Well, that one's probably gonna be because you can take a longer shot with the bottleneck rifle, and if you suck, it might not be humane kill. So maybe that's why they're pushing for the straight wall cartridges. Because generally, 45-70, you're not gonna be shooting the deer at 200 yards.
Why not?
It's got to be an ethical kill, guys. Look, the worst feeling ever for me is wounding an animal and not recovering the animal because he's out there and he's hurt and he's suffering, and that's not what we want. And that's the reason I said those things about the distances with a regular bow and arrow and a crossbow. In Georgia, we can archery is archery, so we can use crossbows or compound bows or shoot. You can use recurve bows if you want, and you can hunt the whole season with archery equipment. Big difference here though is if you're bow hunting. Now y'all explain this one to me. If you're bow hunting, you don't have to have the 500 cubic inches of daylight fluorescent orange. If you're hunting with a rifle, you do have to have that orange vest and hat on, or at least the vest. You don't have to have the hat, but I typically wear the orange hat because if I'm going to get shot, last place I'm going to get shot is in the head. But
Yeah,
And
in bow season.
you guys
Go
worried
ahead.
about you guys worried about the competition rules, and you got so much freaking rules just to go hunt. Like what the hell?
No. See, with the whole hunter's orange thing, is when in bow season, people are looking at very close shots, and you're not running around doing deer drives and that thing. With the gun season, there's been people shot. I mean, uncles have shot their nephews and killed them around here at 3 in the morning, first day of gun season, because they're shooting on whatever moves. Because you get all the idiots out in the woods during gun season.
The old place where I used to shoot, my neighbor's place before he got sold a couple of years ago. I was up there practicing. I had my target set up probably the 15 yards, and I finished the mag. I dropped the mag. I go for the reload, and I kid you not, three does ran right in front of me. There was a lot of hunting. A lot of people went hunting to that property.
Going back to what you were saying there, Jamie, about the humane kill, uh, is it possible that the people that made these rules up about the coyotes are thinking you don't really want to be 30 yards away from a coyote to take a shot at it? So if you can see it at 100 and you got a 5.56 or obviously a 308, you can pop it from 100 yards because letting a coyote get 30 yards away from you before you take a shot's clearly not as safe as being 30 yards away from a deer. And I understand a coyote will most likely run away just like a deer would too, but I'm trying to get into the mind of the people that made these rules.
I defy you to get within 35 yards of a coyote because he slipped up if you do. That generally
Or,
doesn't happen.
or you slipped up and he's basically getting 35 yards closer to you.
No, that ain't the way it works. Coyotes aren't going to attack a human being. They
I,
just,
all the times I've ever seen coyotes, they've been basically more frightened than little kittens.
they
The
are.
last thing a coyote really wants to do is be around anything except for itself and the rabbit it's trying to eat.
I wouldn't try to get in the minds of the people that make these rules because, man, you're just going to hurt yourself.
You are, man.
and
You are.
and distances on your ethical shots, that all goes on how much you practice and know your weapon and know your own capabilities, because what we consider here in Ohio an ethical shot distance is one distance because you have your environment, how much brush is around, than what you have down in Georgia. Out west, bow hunters out there hunting, they're taking 60 to 90-yard shots, and they're making ethical shots because you're talking like longer distances, open area, and the people that keep taking down the animals are the ones that practice.
Uh, Anna Lee Brown said, "Hey, that dingo ate that baby." So a dingo and a coyote are two different species.
All
Those
right.
dingoes, from what I've heard back down in Australia, are really nasty. Have y'all heard anything like that?
Oh yeah, they'll tear you up. I watched a video. A koala bear was on the side of whatever they call the highway in Australia, and this lady got out trying to ooh gaga it and try and help it off the road, and this koala bear went straight up kung fu master all over this lady, knocked her on the ground, got on top of her, and was chopping all up on her, and then finally just jumped off and ran away. And he didn't like maul her to death or nothing like that, but he scratched her up pretty good.
Zombie koalas.
Yeah, if you guys are getting coyotes to come close to you, your number one, your scent control is excellent, and number two, your stands in a really good place, and you can be still and quiet because yeah, I've seen them at maybe 40 yards here, but they've been moving so fast I couldn't kill them. See, we have a standing order on my hunting property. If you see a coyote, you kill it. It don't matter if you don't get a deer that day or not. You see a coyote, kill it because I hunt on a chicken farm, and if they get in the chicken houses, it's bad. It's real bad.
A
Well, a
lot of
lot of people,
places are like that. If you don't shoot, if you go and say you've seen it, and you didn't take a shot at it, at least you're never coming back.
Right.
a lot of people don't like when they think a coyote on a chicken farm. They think the coyote grabs a chicken and runs away. What happens is when a coyote gets in around a group of chickens, he kills about 16 of them before he takes one away and runs. So you've
I,
got one missing chicken, but you've got 15 dead chickens for really no reason at all, except he wanted to kill them all.
it's not what happened at my house. We used to free roam our chickens a couple of years ago, and long story short, I'm inside the house doing whatever on the computer. My wife comes running. You and your fucking guns, where you been? I've been yelling. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I went and checked out the security feed from the camera. So she was outside, the chickens were roaming outside, and Coyote grabbed the chicken. And at that point, she saw it, and she thought it's a fox. So she starts yelling and running towards the coyote. He got scared and dropped the chicken and ran away. All the chickens scattered all over the property. So he just tried to grab one and run.
That's free range. When they're inside that pen, they also forgot how they got inside that pen and they start panicking and kill everything around it until they can find a new way out of the pen.
You know
Now,
awful, you know awful lot
the
about coyotes.
the really scary part about that scenario, Kingpin, is that when they're in there and they're killing those chickens, and then they take one and eat it, their plan is to come back and get the rest of them, and they bring their little group with them. So then you got a big time issue.
All right, I got one for you guys. Zombie apocalypse has come, and you're plugging all these coyotes around your compound. Do you eat the meat? Is there anything that you can eat on a coyote? I know you could skin it and use the skin for clothing and the bones for this and that, but is there any zombie apocalypse type of meat on a coyote that you could feed yourself and your family?
Well, it's gotta
Oh,
be. They have a whole freaking meat market for dogs in Asia. And coyote's technically a freaking dog, so yeah,
yeah.
there's a meat on it. You can definitely eat something. How delicious it's gonna be, that's a different story.
Yeah,
Throw
you
it on
just
a
cook.
smoker. Everything tastes good off a smoker.
Seriously, you cook them well. I mean, make sure that the meat is all the way done, where the blood's not coming out of it no more.
I wouldn't eat it. I wouldn't eat anything. I'd have to be awful hungry. I'll put it that
Yeah,
way to eat a coyote.
yeah. I'll eat a squirrel and a rabbit before I eat a coyote.
If you're awfully hungry, you'll eat anything. The hunger's the best cook.
You know that what's that show on the one of the hunting channel? Oh, Steve Ranella, the meat eater. He ate a coyote on one of the shows, and that guy will eat anything, and he didn't like coyote. So if Steve Ranella says coyote tastes bad, it tastes really really bad.
Well, if you hunt like a wild boar and shit, like what's good of that? I heard the pig's meat's not that great either. It stinks or something.
Oh, a big boar's does, or a full grown one. You eat the young ones. I mean, it's just like beef. If you don't make a steer, but regular bulls, the steaks out of a bull are going to be rancid. But if they're not going to be rancid in a steer. That's where you're getting the difference on that.
Yeah, where I live, there's way too many squirrels and rabbit for me to be eating coyotes.
Here's the thing: when it comes to the zombie apocalypse, you're not gonna be very picky about what you're eating.
I'm with Orange 9. I'm calling crows in. I'd rather eat a crow too than a coyote.
Well, that's what I mean, though, Scotsman. Like, if you're basing the zombie apocalypse on strictly survival, you're not going to want to. You pop a skunk, you're not going to skin that thing open and eat it. So you probably want to be extra careful with what you're eating because you can't necessarily just experiment. Because if you get sick, you're going to die.
Oh, but see, that skunk, you can accomplish two different things. One, you're going to get a meal, and the other, and it's a cover scent. So the zombie is going to smell the human on you. They're going to smell that skunk, and they're not going to want to have nothing to do with that either.
You can ask Daniel anything you want about skunks. He knows all about them.
God. Yeah, that's a fine way to wake up in the morning with two dogs that just got sprayed by a skunk and are both in bed with you. Guess the wife was out there too, and her sinuses got blasted away when it happened. So she didn't have a clue.
The
That's
skunks
happened.
keep the
That's happened more than once.
skunks keep the tomato juice industry alive.
Oh, do you know what works on that though? Actually, all these scent blocker soaps and stuff that have come out. That works. I hit the beagles with some Dawn dish soap, scrub them off outside with the hose. Then after that, I put the scent control the stuff I use for hunting on them, and boom, 3 days later, it's beautiful.
That's like Granny on Beverly Hillbillies said she'd found the cure for the common cold was her rheumatism medicine. Said, yeah, all you do is take about a tablespoon of this every evening, and in 7 to 10 days, your cold is gone. Come on, Daniel.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Excuse me for a second, Val.
to get
Val, could you please show us that glass one more time? What are those things sticking out of the side there?
You can't tell?
If I could tell, I wouldn't be asking. If I could tell, I'd just made something up and started making fun of you already.
It's a 308 bullet.
Okay, now I see. I thought it was some kind of a fancy handle that you guys had to have when you're sipping your.
No, it's
But
a
that's
308.
acceptable. That's acceptable.
Yeah,
it's
it's a
something
308
for his
bullet.
pinky. It's something for his pinky to rest on.
No,
That's what
I
I originally
Got
thought.
one of those Ben shot glasses?
don't rest my pinky. I lift up my pinky when I drink. No, it's I don't know. My kid got it to me for Father's Day. So it's like a 308 bullet embedded in there.
Yeah,
Now,
I got one of those. They're pretty cool.
now that I can see what it is, it's acceptable.
They're made by a company called Ben Shot, I think is what it's called.
Tim S. has got a good recipe over there. Seems like that would work.
Let's see, what did he put? Because he's talking about the skunk, that Dawn dish soap to get rid of the oil and the scent blocker. That type of stuff works.
Do you see Orange Nine's comment underneath that? God, everything will kill you in Alaska, even the crows.
I think the most dangerous thing in Alaska is the moose.
I like watching those videos. The one that comes to mind, somewhere where like the buffalo roam, like Wyoming or wherever that's at. There, tourists go through there. This guy gets out of his Jeep to go over and take a picture of this 5,000-pound massive buffalo, and the buffalo just horns him up into the top of this tree like 3 or 4 times. It's hilarious.
Alaska is also the #1 place that criminals go to try and hide.
There's a reason they're called wild animals. Yeah, moose moose is nothing to play with either, nor bears. Particularly a mama bear. Don't everybody talk at once.
I
No.
know it got pretty quiet since the AC got turned off. That's why I didn't think my stuff was working.
I can
Precisely.
I can turn it back on.
Well said.
Kingpin's
Well,
wife.
hey,
must
don't
have-
blame me that it took you fucking hour to tell me to turn the AC off.
Oh, it just got bad there. Like when I mentioned it, it just got bad. Before that, it was just basic live stream stuff. But at one point in time, it got really loud.
It's when it started like singing "Stairway to Heaven" backwards is when I got worried.
When you said at some point it got really loud, are you talking about the AC or Daniel?
Your AC. This is the tone I speak at.
Okay.
Winners generally don't have to raise their voice. People usually be quiet to listen to hear what they say.
Yeah. There's not a single fucking thing he can say that would interest me.
All right. Bragmo, I haven't shot the P10C. I have shot the P10. The P10, it's a good shooter. The one I shot did have a little bit of work done to it, but it was a good shooter.
P10C is one of my home defense guns, bone stock. I'm gonna send the slide to get it milled for the optic, but definitely Glockula.
I've never had it.
Any CZ, you can't go wrong. So
Yeah.
Well,
CZ,
the only-
they make flavors for everybody.
Yeah, the only step up would be Grand Power.
Then why didn't you
Grand
use it in the
Power.
video? That's one gun you didn't use in the little thing. You didn't shoot. I was waiting for the Grand Power to come out.
Because it's like a golf. I wanted to have a handicap, so you don't feel, That's why I use the shittiest guns I had, smallest guns and crappy guns. You didn't see me shooting my competition gun. You didn't
I
see me,
didn't. I was shooting
I-
my carry gun.
I did. So did I.
Okay, let's not make it about us.
we're gonna get you two a room, man. We're doing a special live stream. We discussed this earlier. We're gonna do a special live stream. You got enough funds to get you to a room.
Oh, wait a minute. Bald and I have been on a live stream before, and it's just us two talking back and forth.
Yeah,
See, it's all you instigators.
exactly. Because of you, we don't need the room. We're gonna need a cell.
Prison rules.
Yeah, the fucking Scotsman. It's all him. He always starts shit. He stirs it up. He's the instigator. Him and the fucking
now it's my
Kingpin.
fucking fault. There you go.
Of course it's your fault. Just like my fucking liver still can't forget about drink off. That was all you, motherfucker.
No, you
Oh,
agreed to it. I didn't do that. I didn't do a damn thing. You agreed to it.
Yeah, I
How
know,
do you-
but under pressure, under duress.
Alan B. Pro lost half his body in that thing.
Well, that's because he just didn't use the common sense. Come on, you should know better than start drinking contests with the Eastern European.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Okay, where I come from, like in this country, people drink because they're sad, or they drink because they're happy. Where I come from, people drink because it's a new day.
That's
See, I like
exactly it
having
right
fun.
there. You said it.
Hey, my daddy didn't raise no quitter.
And I just like having fun. I'll just say the right word at the right time and set that hook.
I did warn you ahead of time that, including you, you can't trust any of us. We're gonna cheat every single opportunity we get. So you
But
were
that's one
warned ahead of
time
time.
I didn't cheat on that one.
Oh, except for Daniel.
That's
of
one I
course.
didn't
That was
cheat. No,
that,
I've
no, no.
cheated at just about everything, but I didn't cheat the tan. I didn't cheat that one. What other challenges were in there?
Well, listen, my father wasn't particularly smart man, but he had a one good saying: "You can't trust your own ass, because sometimes when you thought you farted, you found out you shit yourself."
One thing Daniel can't cheat at is poker.
I didn't
It's
cheat playing
it's all
poker.
about making sure your stuff's primed right.
Yeah, Jamie, I found out why the bullets wobbled, and if I finally started biting me in the butt, there was a spent primer underneath my press, and it wasn't pushing the primers completely up. And I knew I was bottoming them out, but when there's something in there jamming at that last little bit, that solved a whole lot of problems.
I don't think that'd cause you to have unstable bullet flight, though.
No, no, that had nothing to do with the unstable
No, he's
bullet
talking
flight.
about when
The
we were playing
primers.
poker and his bullets were rolling all over the table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
but they all went
exactly.
boom. They all went
That's what
boom.
I know. Me and Scotsman were telling you though. Your primers were proud.
You didn't want to listen to us.
See, that's my test. When I take one and put it on a flat table and it wobbles, yeah. But the bad thing about that is, after you get a loaded round, you don't want to put it back in your press and seat that primer a little deeper at that point.
Really, I just did about 200 with a hand primer.
Outside, pointed
I was in the basement like this, pointing away from me, but straight up in the bedroom towards the where the mattress would catch it if it did shoot.
Dang it, Dave. Thorzak said, Daniel, if you work hard at it and believe in yourself, you can get that second primer.
That'll be a video right there.
Did you ever have a primer go off in the press?
I have once scared the living daylights out of me.
Yeah, I had the same thing. That's one of the reasons why I always wear the safety glasses whenever you load.
Oh, hey, Chris and Scotsman, they that one man-sized target, I had to retire it. The one we shot with a 44 Magnum.
Man, I felt bad when that happened, and then you were like, "No, no, no, it's all right." I'm like,
Well, you know what happened a day or two after that? I'm up there practicing. I'm at 12 yards away, and I hit one of those things. I'm practicing my draw and shoot, and I got my arm up here. It got peppered. My whole arm got peppered with copper and lead. I was been picking that stuff out of my arm for the last 5 or so days
oh,
after that.
Damn.
So that sucker went right into that's done. The guy had it made for him, and he gave them to me, but it wasn't AR 500 steel.
Ah,
yeah, that was my favorite part of the day, shooting those lever actions. That was awesome.
I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to make a video.
if you shoot in mild steel, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, that stuff. I mean, that spalling just came back and just shotgunned my whole arm.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, Chris, revolvers and lever guns make you throw rocks at them semi-autos, buddy.
You,
Ne-
I might
Next,
agree.
ne-
I'll
next,
agree with you on the levers. I don't think you're
next
going to
time
turn
you're
me into a
done,
revolver guy.
next time
You,
you're done, man, I'll bring some Smiths with me, and you'll be a revolver guy before you know it.
Crispy, old school Smiths.
Let me tell you, Chris, you when you bought that Heritage, I cringed a little bit. I'm like, no, he don't need this to be his first revolver shooting thing. And then, yeah, now you're sitting there saying, I'll never be a revolver guy.
I
Yeah,
don't know. Jason's working on me. Jason's brought some nice ones out for me to shoot. So
Hey, Scotsman, put the Brogloader's comment up there.
What do you say?
Yeah, Chris, the Scotsman has some old school revolvers that I have shot from inside my garage out to that smaller steel, and just and shooting them through the double action was hitting it.
Yeah, when I bring a couple of the old Smiths up, man, you'll change your opinion.
well, I'm looking forward to it because I definitely want another. We got to do that again. That was a fun day.
My one
Yeah,
friend brought out.
that 44 load that you shot, you'll get to shoot that out of a 4-inch 44 Magnum, and then you'll know all about it.
those in-frame Smiths are a work of art. I mean, they are. Just me. No, it ain't.
Next,
All right, we're gonna start going through the room. It's getting to that time. I do gotta go to work, so never ends. Daniel, what you got going on, man?
well, it's just been taking care of some of the wife's projects all week, and if anybody doesn't know, that's how you get new guns past the wife. You take care of them first before you take care of yourself. Um, I'll get back out on the range next week. And all I do is just go out there and play. Orange, that has that you got. There was some confusion in there with this whole primer seating with unstable flight that has nothing to do with each other. Two separate areas. One involves valve, and the other one involves primers not seating all the way, causing light primer strikes. But hey, thanks for having me on, everybody. Hey, you only got a few more days, I guess, to get into the Willie whole fun. I'm sure Jamie can tell you about the rest of that. And nice seeing you and having. Hey, it's been great for you guys to be able to be graced by me. And I'm out.
He was doing good, and then he went there. All right, Val, what you got going on, brother?
I got another drink I'm gonna have before I go to bed. And other than that, trying to finish the house, sell the house. I got a bunch of videos that I uploaded. I'm gonna release them little by little. And I don't know. Go enjoy the uh, 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 Daniel's praise video about him winning.
Jamie, what you got, brother?
I'm typing Rob Painless a response there. He said he likes his in frame. So let me just say it. All Smiths are nice, but those old school in frame, L frame Smiths, they're awful nice. They're just, yeah, I got some J frame, one J frame too, and I like it. But I really like that. Listen, guys, you have a week from this coming Wednesday to get your donations in uh, to be entered into the drawing. If you want to donate after that, that's fine. But we're going to have to start getting the paperwork ready to give away prizes, and we're up to $4,300 plus some. So, what do y'all think? Can we make $5,000 in a week? Less than 10 days? I think we probably can. So you guys get your contributions in. Check us out on Friday nights at Georgia Shooting Connection channel at 8 o'clock. And thanks for having me, guys. It's always fun to hang out with y'all. Am I forgetting anything? Daniel's
Yeah.
grinning at me like I've messed up.
He's just
No,
stirring
I'm
the
reading.
pot.
I'm reading the comments.
All right, Chris, what you got, brother?
First, everybody, CW's got a surgery coming up this week, so whatever you're, keep him in your thoughts, prayers, whatever it is you do. But he's a good friend, and I really care about him. So we all need to keep him in our thoughts this week. Get him back on these chats with us, and thanks for the invite, Scotsman. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys let me into this community. I love hanging out with all of you. So thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Glad you could make it, man. Good to have you. And you're better in this community than some. So, we're glad to have you too. All right. With that being said, guys, we had a pretty good chat. Kind of went off the rails all over the place, but that's all right. It's always fun. Great seeing everyone out there. And I'm going to throw it over to the Kingpin to take us out.
YouTube auditor, we got a second big bowl of greasy, nasty dicks for you to eat on. And thanks for joining us, everybody out there. It's been an honor to sit in for Alan B. Pro. And as he would always say, keep the magazines loaded and one in the chamber. Woo!